So just about 2 weeks ago, I told you to buy the Galil Dusk Ruins on my investing loadout video. Now it was around 30 bucks at the time, and it has since gone to $90 as of making this right now. Now it wasn't a lucky guess, there was a pattern behind it, and today I'm going to show you the pattern in which I used. The Counter-Strike investing landscape has changed. I saw a post from Team Deathmatch Jesus, and he said, CS2 investing is R-blank-D. I agree, it is rad. And that's because I'm here to fucking help you. Because whether you think the market is legitimate or not, the market will simply move on without you, whether you participate or do not participate. So let's adapt. There's still money to be made, but we just have to follow a different set of rules. If you're new here, there's one thing you need to know. Valve likes to randomly discontinue skin collections in Counter-Strike. Sometimes they'll straight up remove it without telling anyone. Sometimes they'll give you a 2-week notice, but when they do, price explodes. And a lot of signs point to people knowing about it before it happens. And because hindsight is 2020, if we look back on the charts, there is a lot of unusual and suspect activity regarding volume before times of discontinuation. So it's not exactly a wild belief to think that there are some insiders or someone who knows something in the Counter-Strike market. 3 weeks ago, we saw cases surge in price. And while cases are a good store of value, it made even more sense when the cases were taken out of the rare drop pool last week. We could also look to the Anubis collection. All of the skins, and even the case itself, pumped extremely hard right before the news of the discontinuation. Now, unlike the cases, this is much more telling, because the Anubis case was in the in-game store, meaning a flat price and effectively infinite supply. Not only were people buying the Anubis case for over $2 on the community market, but the case was only in the game for 2 years, which for a collection is on the relatively smaller side of timelines. The Anubis situation seems too clairvoyant of a play for them to have made a lucky guess on with such incredible timing. So instead of whining like a little girl, let's just follow their moves. Get in, sell the news, get out clean. That's what we're about. I'm not here to moan about market manipulation because I cannot prove whether or not it exists. But what I can prove is recognizing patterns. When you see any pattern that works in any financial asset you happen to invest into, you follow it until it breaks. If you counter it, you'll lose a lot more than you win. So on these insider plays, here's what we're seeing. Do you like free stuff? Well, if you do, the wonderful ladies and gentlemen over at SkinsMonkey.com, today's sponsor, have put together such a beautiful Christmas event. From now until January 11th, simply log on the website and look at that top banner. It'll say claim free gift. Now the gift can either be a new skin, it could be on-site balance, or it could be an increased deposit bonus. And if you're a smart investor, you'll use code MIKE, which will give you an extra 5% bonus, which can bring you all the way up to 50%. And the more trades you make on the website, the more gifts SkinsMonkey will send to you. I got an M4A4 Evil Daimyo, so it's not like they're giving you Safari meshes either. These are real nice skins. In addition to that, they've also prepared an advent calendar. Simply go on the website every day and claim an entry into a huge pool of giveaways. And again, these are nice skins. Ruby Knife is the top prize right now. So thank you to SkinsMonkey for sponsoring, and thank you also for putting together such a nice and wonderful event for the community. Around a week to 2 weeks before the discontinuation actually happens, we see a large volume spike followed by a price hike. Now, because there's no explicit reason as to why the price hiked so much, people with the item sell it and you see a pullback and a little bit of consolidation for a few weeks. Then, once the news of a discontinuation drops, you see another explosion. That's exactly what happened with the Anubis collection, as you can see here on the screen. It's exactly like a stock chart. Volume leads, news follows, price confirms, and that's when you get out. And if you only held the item for 1 week and you have a 12% gain, you get the fuck out. Because a 12% gain every week is better than a 100% gain every 6 months. Swing trading is good when you know the probabilities involved and you know the patterns that are most indicative of success. Now let's identify the criteria for our market insider play. Now first, we're gonna need to filter for desirability. Now desirability can mean two things in this context. A, the reason you know. If a skin looks good, it's desirable. B, it doesn't necessarily have to be good, it could just be very, very cheap. Like the AK Safari Mesh, for example, probably sells more in terms of actual money than the AK Bloodsport in a 24-hour span. Does the AK Safari Mesh look better than the Bloodsport? No, but by our definition, it's also desirable. Our second filter is gonna have to be active collections. We're playing discontinuation news. So these are skins that are still dropping actively in whatever form it may come in, armory, case, yada, 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 that have the potential to be removed. Keep in mind, some have more potential than others, which we'll discuss. And what you do is you accumulate before the discontinuation hits. That way, once the news of the discontinuation hits, that massive spike, you'll be able to sell the top. And when that pullback eventually happens, that's when you can either buy back in or just simply ignore it and rotate into a different play. There's always a pullback. Stop being greedy. You have not profited until you sell your position. Not financial advice. So let's look into 3 collections right now that are showing very unusual volume. And if I had to guess, right now we're in that consolidation phase right before the discontinuation hits because we've already seen the first initial pump. So 2 of the collections are kind of go hand in hand together. And that is the Inferno and the Nuke 2018 collection. We've seen very strange price action regarding these 2 collections over the last few weeks. These skins are in the active pool. Prices should decrease over time, especially in the winter when player counts are higher and thus more drops are happening. But prices are climbing, which is telling. And for a lot of the higher tier ones in the collections, we've seen actual pumps. And since Valve actually remembered that active jobs do exist and they added 3 new collections back in March, it's not exactly crazy to believe that they'll be getting rid of the Inferno and Nuke Collection very soon. So from the Inferno Collection, we have the SG553 Integrale. This is a fucking cool skin. I wish it was not on the SG553. Sort of like an old school Monaco racing type of vibe going on here. Really cool looking skin for a play skin in general, and it's the highest tier 1 in the Inferno Collection. So even if the skin is not entirely desirable, it doesn't matter, because what we're doing is selling the news and we're selling the hype. I don't give a fuck about the fundamentals of it. I care about the fundamentals when it's a collection that's already been discontinued. For ones that are active and being discontinued, we're just selling hype. In the same sense, the other pink from the Inferno Collection, the dual Berettas Twin Turbo. Same exact vibe, just on the dual Berettas. Probably a little bit of a better investment if you want to actually use it as a play skin, but again, I'm buying it to sell the hype. The third one is one that I've talked about in like 3 other videos before this, the MP7 Fade. If you bought them from last week's video, just hold them. They've gone up a little bit, but just be patient and sell that news. But even if it takes a little while for that pump to happen, you still have a gun that's going up in price over time. If you can't afford any of these in factory new, then I suggest buying the blues or light blues in factory new. Because when you buy a blue, you're not just buying a blue. You're buying a chance at a purple if you use a trade-up contract. Keep that in mind. From the Nuke Collection, I have 2 for you. The Glock 18 Nuclear Garden, an old school style skin, and it's green, which people love green. That's my due diligence there. It's definitely got legs, and I just got one from a weekly drop, so your boy's up. And also the safer play, just the high tier gun in the collection. It's an M4A1S. It's called the Control Panel. It's weird, it's relatively unknown. I think it looks terrible, but whatever. And once it gets discontinued, it will get more popular because that's how humans are. And we are not humans, we are robots, simply giving them what they want. And since it doesn't trade up to anything and its only merit will be a play skin, you can get it pretty much at anywhere you want. It looks equally shitty amongst all wares. The next collection will be the Ancient Collection. Lots of price hikes going on here as well, which is why the Galil Dusk Ruins I mentioned a couple weeks earlier has doubled in price since then. Now I don't believe I have enough influence to spike the mil-spec Galil market, so I can safely assume this is a cohesive group attempt by someone out there. Now also, this collection makes sense as well. The Ancient Collection is discontinued. Correct. What isn't, however, are its souvenir packages. If Ancient gets removed from the map pool in Season 4, now I know you cannot trade up souvenir guns, but the fact that you can unbox them at any time you want kind of depresses the price of the non-souvenir guns in the collection. Now Valve kind of seems to just choose the map they're taking out of whim, so it really could be any map. However, this is the only one pumping. And like I said, we're just following the pattern. And this one's the only one showing accumulation. So the things I was watching 2 weeks ago are going to be kind of roughly the same here for the Ancient Collection. The first one being the P90 Run and Hide. This is a pink, and the Ancient Collection has 2 pinks. This P90 and the AK-47 Panthera Anka. The Panthera Anka is a play skin, and it's on an AK, so it's more expensive than the P90, which means you should never use it in a trade-up. The P90, 0-1 float cap, it's on a shitty gun, and thus it will be your only trade-up filler for the M4 Welcome to the Jungle. Find some low floats and hold on to them. The second one, I'm going to say to keep that Galil on your radar. As I said, it has doubled since I called it a couple of weeks ago. Therefore, you do not buy right now. It's still in its pump phase. What you should wait for is a pullback and a consolidation, and that is when you enter. It will be higher than the original price I called it at, but it will be lower than what it is right now. Do not buy the top and get burnt. I don't want to hear your fucking voice. The last one, I'm going to say the USPS Ancient Visions. This is a really cool skin. A lot of the guns in this collection have the same patterns on their skins, so I'm just going to choose the best gun, and that's the USP here. As I said, people like guns when they get discontinued, and this one can pump just off its aesthetic appeal alone. Now these are actively being pumped right now, and as I said with the Galil, do not buy the top. Be patient. If it's the first pump, that means we're going to see a pullback, we're going to see consolidation, and then we're going to see a second pump. Don't come crying here if you FOMO in and get burnt by a bunch of Chinese dudes. There's always a pullback. Just wait for it. So those are the 3 collections on my radar. There is more though. I have more collections to go over with you guys in a future video, so stay tuned for that. And if we're right on these, then you'll have some capital to move into the next asset class I tell you about. And just 2 comments. I made a post on the YouTube channel in which I found a website in which you can do like prediction markets where I make the questions. I'm not sponsored or anything. It's just a cool place for me to like ask questions and then like see what everyone's thinking at the moment. It's really cool. It'll be in the Discord channel, and I also post it on the YouTube channel if you want to like just go ahead and check it out. It's free. You don't pay money to bet. Tomorrow I'll post a Christmas special in which I rip hella cases because I'm not editing shit. Just gonna be honest with you. But for the members of this channel, I will post like a long form video in which I explain some of the plays I'm currently making right now, so you can see where my head's at. So stay tuned for that if you're a member. Now, have a lovely Christmas, everyone. Have a Merry Christmas Eve. Go make some money and then go hang out with your family. And use those profits to buy someone you love something nice, because that's what Christmas is about. Fuck what you get. Peace.